Carisma sound. It's not smash again. What's it? Say mama, bye, whenever the girls miss. Just the woman again, like this, you can keep it check. Not far, can't have a song. Okay.
You've got bubbles, this one's on, it's that things we call the plan. You've got bubbles, it goes, make this stop to make it's that things we call the plan. You've got bubbles, what comes, it's what comes, it's about things we call the plan. You've got bubbles, what comes, make this stop to do things that things we call the plan.
Alex de Veselio Eminetio.
Enemies marked south. It's not smash the camera. It's just. Say, mama, bye, but everything goes miss. Just the woman can like when she can kill a chair. Not far, can't ever sort. Okay.
You've got bubbles, this one's on, six and things, three of them. You've got bubbles, it goes, make this stop to make this and things, three of them. You've got bubbles, what comes, this one home, it never things, three of them. You've got bubbles, what comes, make this stop to do things, things, three of them.
Welcome back, everybody. It is 8 o'clock on the 16th of October. That would be a Thursday. Episode 279 of Scuffed Epoch with me, Drift Johnson. You're watching Latent Space Live. Don't forget, if you're watching live or later, the links are in the description if you want to join us. Get involved in the discussion, share your work, or just check out what we're all doing. So, welcome to the show, everybody. Hello, Furnicar Battlecruiser operational, liked and subscribed. My keyboard was broken. I don't know what happened, but I had to restart the computer, which is annoying because, you know, everything was running and all that. But here we are. We got Bunraku doing the intro as always. Essentially, I need to sort out the radio station still. We've been working on other stuff. So I'm most likely going to be doing that tonight after the show. So don't forget to come by the Discord and check that out. Windows issues. That's what's the latest. But let's take a quick look at the AI signals feed. Which, did I post the thing in the wrong place? Yes. He posted the thing in the wrong place. Hang on. Yeah. Whoops. Give us a sec. Alright, that never happened. Okay, so let's take a look at what's going on. What's going on? Oi, stop being clever. Right. Can't make it any bigger. Okay. Huawei is making agentic AI systems. Quen has released Meet Your AI Memory. Quen Chat Memory. Okay, and then also we've got LangChain, and they're doing authentication, Agent Auth, which is a new interesting thing. There's also a thing from Gemini. VO 3.1 released today, which is a pretty big deal. And then also Rohan Paul has mentioned a paper, Boost LLM Reasoning by Scaling Prompts, not Data. It used instruction frames. So basically the generative adversarial framework, subagent framework. So that's nice because this is like a better way of doing what we've been doing, but with like technology. So they've used Quen 2.5. Student model is fine-tuned on the generated reasoning. So it's like taking it to the next level. I really love to see it. Obviously, it's got nothing to do with us. Everyone's on the river. We've talked about that before. So, is your LLM multi-based agent system actually coordinating? So, a paper about how to measure whether your sub-agents are actually, you know, synergizing. I call that coherency. Basically the same thing. Optimizing coding agent rules. Claude MD, Agent MD from Azarize AI. They offer some interesting insights on, you know, how they can go ahead and organize things, which is nice to read. I thought it was interesting. Also, Andrei Karpathy released NanoChat, which is a minimal end-to-end ChatGPT style pipeline you can train in 4 hours for $100. We might have to come back to this one because he's a good guy, and good guy, good. We'll come back to that though. I didn't really want to change the whole web page. Actually, I just wanted to come back to it. It takes over the whole universe. Okay. Google transitions to encryption-based sanitization, which is interesting. So we've talked about this too with some of our projects. We have this has got nothing to do with AI directly, but it's the idea of if you have a hard drive and you have encrypted data on a hard drive, you don't need to waste the energy of deleting the data. You just delete the encryption key, and if an encryption key has been deleted, then that data is now irretrievable and ready to be overwritten. So, you know, it's an interesting idea. Cryptographic erasure. In other words, destroy the encryption keys, making the data unreadable. and then they can just reuse the drives. It's interesting though, because technically it does mean that if somebody did have the key, the data's still there after the user deleted it. So it's an interesting little thing. But it might be useful to us, so I thought I'd include it. Google open sources an MCP for Google Ads API. I don't know if you remember ages ago we tried to build the silly app that just served up ads. I doubt this works exactly like that, but this is the beginnings of Google's foray into ads, agentic ads, I guess you could call it. So I don't know what that's going to look like, but it's interesting to keep an eye on. And that gets us up to date. Okay. There we go. Lovely, lovely, lovely. So let's take a look at what we're going to... First thing for the day. There we go. First thing, let's refresh my project and take a look at Careless Canvas 3D. So if you remember, I do a lot of stuff with my Careless Canvas, which is a 2D tool. Can we have a dark mode? No, you don't get dark mode. That's always been a bug. I recommend OC. But anyway, if I just load one of these, we've got the Roy persona. So this is the research document I put together. So we have what I put into the AI in yellow, what was responded in green, yellow, green, research document, response, pre-earth character analysis for the character, and then the various RAG and system prompt itself. Now we've obviously we've actually improved that with a new Roy Hollow. So let's just quickly add that. Because this is now the primary system prompt. So if I just go ahead and connect, relates, I'll say leads to, from here to there, make sure the document's set up, Roy Hollow, DJZ project, and then save it. Right, now when I save it, that updates and creates a new NML file with a timestamp. And I've showed this off before, right? Do you know what? Let's just make it a little bit cooler. I'll put it there and save it again. Right, so we've got our file. Now what I've got for you guys is the new thing. It's not hosted on my website yet, but it will be. So I'm going to put the temporary address on the inside line. If you've got an NML file, if you've ever used my canvas, you should be able to load it in. And I'll be interested to see how that goes. So yeah, obviously Careless Canvas 3D is what we're going to look at. It's still technically in dev, but I've got it to a point where maybe stuff works. So the first thing obviously is just like, well, what is it? Now, I've already got an agent in my copy buffer. So it works just like, it works just like Careless Canvas did. Okay. Only, hang on, where's the, here, let's get the Roy perspective back in the copy buffer. So it's obviously I'd overwritten it. Okay. There we go. What? Oh yeah, I'm on this one now. Right. So you've got a thing you can move around in. Obviously it's infinite in all directions. If when you load it in you find that you can't see anything, you can press H and it'll warp you to the first node, right? Because obviously I don't know where you put it. It's an infinite grid. You might have started it way over there. So we have like a teleport feature. It's shift to up, shift down, space up. E is used to select a node. And then if you want to copy its contents, you can just press Control C from anywhere. It's going to enter connection mode, but just escape from that. But that gives us the ability to quickly paste. You know, we can copy stuff out and we can paste stuff in. So it's just the same as the Careless canvas in that way. But if I then go into the F menu, you've got the full thing here, and I do have to keep pressing escape because it loves to steal focus for the thing. But so yeah, as you can see, there it is. La-di-dee. You can pick the shape, you can pick the color, you can pick the scale. You've got uniform for the axes, so you can make the different shapes. You've got rotation. There's all these different stuff. I'm going to delete that because I already got one. Oh. Now, if I press E and then I press C, it goes into connection mode, right? So say I want to connect it to the main one here, right? So I'm going to put the mouse over it, and I can use the scroll wheel to change what I want the connection to be. So if I say derives from, press E, and then it's linked up. Now I did a couple of other things. Obviously the data displays in like a rich panel at the bottom there. If I go and get the Careless Whisper project from GitHub, I can show you, because it's like a nice, it's got an embedded image and all that good stuff. So if I go down to Careless Whisper, there it is. If I grab the README from this, you'll see a couple of things it can do. So we'll grab that and go back in here. So that's the Careless Canvas 3D Lovable. So how about I say, oh, well, you know, I think you should use the two things together. Ooh. The image is gone. Right. I already fixed that. I'm going to have to fix it again. All right. One more thing to do. So C, and it's going to be derives from. Yeah, sure. Sure. And then we do have the ability to adjust. Okay, adjust the thickness, the curve, and that'll come in a minute. I don't know what it'll do if I say it's animated, so I haven't actually done that yet. But if you go into the options, we'll look at import from NML in a minute. So if I go to settings, I can change the project name. So this one's demo. Okay, and we can change the font as well now. I'll show you Lato. We do have a performance mode if you have like an insanely huge thing with culling and stuff. I'm going to change it to ribbon. I want to show the link labels. You can also, if you have like a different scale, I found 0.05 was a good conversion for NML. Let's do animated links as well. Curve left or curve right? Link thickness, default, so if you don't specify, it's that first. There's a bunch of stuff on here, you know. Try and make it nice. All right, so now we've got ribbons, right? They're ribbons. And then, as I said, if you want to get that, where is it? There, link curve. Let's take it down to like, oh, he's not curving. My curves aren't curving. I specifically just did that. Oh well, it's probably another bug. All right. The point is you can load them in and you can have these 3D representations. I'm going to have to fix that. Hello? Oh. Have I broken something? Oh, there we go. Must have been lagging. Wait a minute. Ah, there we go. I think I was selecting the... Yeah, it was selecting the connection even inside of it. Okay, well, just actually select the shape. It's fine. All right. There we go. So anyway, the idea was I've got a way to do all this sort of stuff and key out the background maybe. But anyway. So let's take a look at the importing thing, because that's the bit which is nice. So if I just go to here, so if I had like a project that I've already been working on, so for example, Roy Hollow, It's going to come in, and as you can see... Oh, actually, I didn't... It is right next to me. Okay. Right, well, this would be... That's the same plan. We started there, and then that's the first answer. There's the next question. There's the answer. There's the supporting docs, and then we get the big one. Which is the Roy Batty character analysis. And, what the... How did I do that? It completely changed... See, I'm not completely insane. I just did some kind of weird shortcut. And I've ended up on the API... How is that? How did he do that? I've ended up on the API page. Luckily, there's nothing there, right? But it just makes me laugh because I'm like, hang on a minute. How the hell did we get here? What? That was definitely the right place. Have we like alt-tabbed? Dude, sometimes Windows, it's like I just hit some kind of keyboard combination just by using the thing. That's a problem. So like, what the hell? I think I went Control-Shift-A. Control-Shift-A opens a freaking tab thing. Oh my God. That's so stupid. So stupid. Right, can I at least... Control-1. Yeah, I didn't press Control-1. I pressed Control-Shift-A because I was moving left and right with A and D. So I pressed Control-Shift-A and Control-Shift-A opened a tab. And I probably pressed S or something, or D, you know. Oh my God, I hate these features. All right, so I've got to basically do that again then. Give me a sec. It's just annoying. That's all. This is funny. It ended up opening up the API key. What are the chances? Yeah, but it wasn't the next tab, dude. It wasn't the I didn't have my open router key section open in the next tab. Just somehow for whatever machination, Control-Shift-A gives me search tabs. And I have, I have a lot of tabs open in a lot of browser windows. Anyway, whatever. It's being annoying. Right. So let's just do it again. It's all right. I'll just import it again. It's just funny, just completely side quest, rip me out from what I'm doing. Rugged. Okay, so let's just get to the point, which is over here. And that, it just tried to do it again. Basically, it doesn't like it when I press lots of buttons at the same time, so I guess just be careful. So yeah, if I E, we can see the proper system prompt. And by the way, we tried this out. Redial came and joined us, and we tried this out with, I think it was Llama 3.1, quite an old model with a custom. Anyway, I won't tell you too much, but the point is we tried it with a bunch of things. This sort of method of saying you are model name, exploring the perspective of character name, kind of gets around it. You can do role play, but it's an imitation, which is what you want. You want it to be a role play imitation. That's the whole point. But we showed it yesterday on the show, and it was really interesting. So if you missed that one, 278 was one to watch. So what else does this do? Did I show the options menu? I probably did. Yeah, I showed the options menu. We've done import from NML. All right, whoa, lost my camera. You can press G to turn off the grid, so then it's like a little bit more just ethereal data representation. The way I build it is a little bit less like this, but because Comfy Canvas Classic, the 2D edition, created, because it created it's 2D top down on a grid and it has like a snap to it, everything's kind of on, you know what I mean? It's all kind of on the same level. So that's why you get that. But obviously what I did was to make it work, I just imported everything at Z0. So, you know, it is 2D. But I think that's useful because, you know, back compatibility is an interesting little goal, project goal. Let's see. So let's get a bigger one, right? This will be the wave diffusion for SDXL with waves. So let's take a look at this. Yeah, I reckon this can work. Right, hang on a sec. Let me just get rid of that thing. You don't need to see that all the time. All right. It's a shame you can't scroll up and down. But then again, I guess when you're talking about, like, if say I'm here talking and trying to give an overview. Yo, Profi Prompter, welcome, welcome. He says, sup, damn, what am I looking at? And welcome to everybody I didn't say hello to since the last welcome. I think Dragon. Oh man, I need more donuts. So yeah, yeah, Dragon is here. So yeah, as you can see, we've just loaded an NML. So NML was my previous mind map organizer. It's still there, still good, still works. You can use it locally. It has its own format. So there's a lot more I can do with it, you see. More on that later, I guess. But what it does is it allows you to chain markdown documents together but give a relationship. And then you have a single XML file for the entire project from the first prompt to the final plan. And then I've even got, in fact, let's load up the one that we're looking at now, which is this one. So this one is a slightly larger plan. Starting off with me asking Zero Vector Hollow, how does a wave-based framework improve over linear async promise system design? And then I dropped in, oh no, sorry, assistant, wave-based versus promise-based architecture, complete analysis. And off he goes. We had a little bit of a conversation, right? So that's Zero Vector Hollow that's come up with that, probably with Claude 4.5. At the end of this, he's given me the complete implementation for the pipeline, SDXL wave-based, and then I've said this is simplistic. I've created the 1, 2, 3, 4 phase plan. And then we checked the plan. That's a new thing. I had him read the plan and fix any errors he made while writing it the first time. And that gives us the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stage plan. Like I said, which eventually gets copied or re-downloaded after all the changes were made. You know, I think these are all, no, sorry, these are all the fixes. So there, he found 6 errors in the plan, which he fixed. And then we actually created it with this plan. And then, do you know what the irony was? I'm not sure, is this... Yeah, the irony was that in the creation of it, he only made a simulation. But then by spending another $40, we actually made him do it for real. And it works. So it's funny, you have to kind of poke him a little bit. But the point I'm trying to make is, say I had a complex project with all this data in it. And the main function of this is you can paste in and then you can copy anything out quickly. So it becomes like a scrapbook, but it's also got flowchart capability. So you could just use it for a bunch of prompts you use. You could use it like I'm using it to track an entire complex project. It's up to you. I've got even bigger ones than this, but this is the first one I could find. So what I wanted to do with the 3D version, because obviously this is only 2 dimensions, right? So I thought, why don't we just do it in 3D? And it's not working. Hang on. Oh, yeah. I said, why don't we just do it in 3D? But we've got all of that work that we've done, so I didn't want to lose that. So you'll forgive me that I've actually had to scale this down to 0.02. So when I first brought them in, they were like country size. I was like, yeah, I think we can make that smaller. So let's see. So yeah, this would be obviously you could, like, we didn't have shapes. All we had was colors. So it's brought the colors in, you know, but they're all squares. They're all cubes by default. But yeah, that would be the phase 1 or phase 0 or whatever, the MVP setup plan. So there we go, master implementation with the plan to do it all. Yeah. But yeah, it's basically just the next level. You know, I was like, well, hang on a minute. We've been doing a load of 3JS stuff lately, so I thought, can we do it for something a bit more like production tool type thing? And so what we've ended up with is a universal 3-dimensional mind mapping thing that works in Markdown. And by the way, I didn't half-arse this, okay? There's 2 things that are important about this project, which I want to underscore. Number 1 is, though both of them have a custom defined extendable, because XML is extendable, so they both have, where is it? It's not that one. Have I really been that active that it's just disappeared, or did I never post it yet? I think it must be here and I just haven't. Yeah. So NM3 extends NML into 3-dimensional space, enabling spatial organization of Markdown-based thoughts and ideas within an immersive 3D environment. It maintains NML, which is nested Markdown language, that's the format used here, simplicity, while introducing geometric primitives, depth perception, and spatial relationships that leverage the additional dimension for enhanced conceptual organization. Because, you know, you could use height for importance or something, you know, if you want. But the idea is you can do whatever you want to do. And NM4 is going to have a time dimension, okay? So I'm just letting you guys know before we, there'll be a time dimension. But I don't want to, I need to shape the idea in my head. But essentially there would be movement, because NM4 be 4-dimensional. So now you've got a time element to play with. But I don't want to go crazy, all right? Anyway, this is good enough for now. Hashtag good enough. But yeah, it's got a very tight standard. It's so that you can build apps using the spec from the standard, you know. So if you want to build an app that can load these, obviously you can access all of the information and understand how it's passed and everything. So I actually built my app based on this standard. And like I said, I based it, where is it? So this is all written in, or it's saving and loading in NM3, okay? It saves and loads in .nm3, which is just XML, but obviously to a spec, right? So if I save and load, I can save and load my projects for this 3-dimensional format. But when I go to import from 2D NML, well, how did I make it compatible with every type of NML file? Well, this has NML has a standard too. So when I was developing the import backward compatibility stuff, all I had to do was say, we're going to import from the NML standard. And then, you know, well, what's the NML standard? That's why so there will be an NM3 spec that will release. I mean, this one's already, no, it's private. This one's development. But if I show you, I've got the NML spec somewhere. Have I really made that much stuff? Where is it? Canvas. Here we go. So NML, nested markup language. There'll be a similar repo to this, which will have the spec document, which is basically, that's NML. So it's what is this extended X? So this is the 2-dimensional version, right? So by feeding my new app the spec for the file format of my old app, it was able to then make it backward compatible. Do you see what I mean? Because of the fact I made this standard up first, because Careless Canvas was built after the standard, yeah? So I built everything I want, the file format, everything I want to save in it, all the location data I want, all of that. So we made this first, and then we used this to create the Canvas app, which obviously saves and loads in that format. And so then when, like I say, we come to make the backward compatibility, it's just a case of feeding it the spec for the old app and saying, this is the spec for the old app, make an import. so we can backward compatible with everything that our users have already built. Okay. Now, I think this is actually a lot nicer, because you have like a kind of, I mean, you can either go above or below it, but you could have like a galaxy of research information you've done, and then you can come off of them, and it's anything you paste. So for example, check this out, right? Let me see what we can do here. So if I just Control C on that, okay, so that's the phase 1 core weave framework. So I've got it in my copy buffer. Yeah? Now, easy. So now, if I go push the button, which would be this one, I could set, wait, is it even online? Ah, Canvas isn't running. Always happens when you're about to, it's because I restarted the computer again. Bloody, it's probably Microsoft. They probably forced the update. I came to the computer today and the keyboard wasn't working. I was like, what? I did everything up to the point of editing the name of the video before going live. I couldn't type. I was like, what? So I restarted and it's fine. So it makes me think, probably blame Microsoft. Anyway, let's get that canvas running. Okay, so in my clipboard I should have what I copied, right? So say we're in the thing. I think that I never used the black key, because you have dictate, speech, prompt, and then prompt copy. So I think it's this one. So if I go, write me a summary of what's in my clipboard. I don't know if it'll do that. I should have probably said the text, because I'm not sure if he actually understands that it's a clipboard, He might not be that smart. But yeah, the idea was to give myself this three-dimensional space where we can do information for presentation. But also, like I said, let me just double check that it actually works. I don't have the Bing on. I don't have the audible Bing. No, it's still the entire... Oh, wait, no, it is. Okay, he did it. Right, so paste it in, hit C, explores, summarizes. Do I have summarizes? What do I have? Contextualizes, synthesizes. Oh, my God, there's so many of them now. Relates, supports, contradicts, proceeds, enables, requires, questions, answers, exemplifies, contextualizes, synthesizes, leads to, explores. How about explores? So many options. And then what is it? Leads to what? Escape. I think I actually... Oh, look, the curve's working. Sweet. So then, summary of your clipboard content. So what I did was I copied that and I said, give me a summary. So there we go. Check it out. This is actually really sweet. If I ever had something like this in VR, I would actually use VR. It's kind of funny. It's like just a little 3D productivity tool. So now he's just enhanced it, So how about now I Control C that and say, how can we improve this? Give him a minute. He's going to think about it. See, what I need is the Bing noise back on the transcription, because I don't really know when he's finished. So I might just clip the same thing. Yeah, that's not your boy. Ah, here we go. There we go. He's here now. So E, F, escape. Whoops. E, F, escape, delete. Yes. And then we'll do this E, C, explores. Yeah, sure. Sweet. So we're already sort of, you know what I mean? It's starting to, it's starting to explode. So all of these nodes, yeah, forget VR. This is why VR, man. They might make VR super lightweight, Fernie. So Fernie just said, what about VR sickness? to be honest, I think the real issue isn't that. It's that it puts weight on your sinuses, and people don't realize how delicate your sinuses are, and you get weird problems like blockages and stuff. And it takes months or years, and then it takes even longer to get rid of it. So I don't mean to be like, I think it depends on who you are. Like, some people get it worse than others. But like, if you're prone to migraines or like, anyway, I'm not a doctor. I'll shut up. But yeah, I think they need to be lighter. I think the VR needs to be lighter. When they make them when they make VR into sunglasses, I think everyone will like it. But at the moment, it's just a bit clunky still. Okay. And I do find it ironic that they started off as like super heavy things. Like they started off as these giant, like a TV on your head. And then they've just slowly been turning into a phone in a box. Slowly getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So yeah, just let them make it shrink. So let me see. So what is he saying we can do here? Let's make it better. Architecture diagrams, state transition diagrams, wave interference patterns. Okay, it's only going to be the first 200 characters. Do I use some kind of AR glasses? No, I don't know. Well, I guess I do. I did get those Ray-Bans. They are pretty good. They're good glasses. I found them good for recording. But I don't really like. You know how it's like, oh, you can just press a button and ask it something. You can, but the answers suck. So you're like, can't I get Claude in this thing? It's one of those. It's good, but it needs to be universal. And then as for the video stuff, like it doesn't have like any inlaid anything. Like it's weird. They were selling them like, oh, you can look at things and it'll tell you what you're looking at. And I was like, I mean, that's cool if you can't see what you're looking at, but do you see what I mean? It's like they're giving you a camera that can see for you, but then that has value if you have bad sight, I guess. Or maybe what I thought it would be good for would be translation, because you'd be able to like read foreign languages on products and know what you're buying and stuff. I thought that would just be useful if you're on holiday. But to be honest, you can intuit a lot of this stuff, if there's you know what I'm trying to say. So anyway, here we have sort of like an example of what can happen when you start using the Careless Whisper to copy and paste the stuff, and yeah. Summary of it, suggestions to improve phase 1. It's kind of crazy. He's basically just like, oh, you got to test it all. The irony is the plan was all a bunch of like simulation code that didn't really do anything. I had to kick him in the head to make him actually build it right. Did we find any bugs while I was doing this demo? I'm just trying to remember while we clean up from this. But yeah, you can see that once you start building on top, it's going to turn into quite a complicated tree of life very quickly. And then you have like this whole host of data in there. And this is the most fun part. Like with NML, if you save this file, you now have an NML file. Now, if you take an NML file and turn it into an XML file, most LLMs understand XML. So what we can do, because it does start with an XML header, I made it so it's semantic like this. So if we now go over to our favorite friend, Claude, and we say, please explain what is going on in this research or project, in this research project log, because it is an XML file, he'll get that. So like I said, we'll drop the XML file in, okay, because he understands XML. Hopefully it's not too long. Sometimes they can get a bit long. I was thinking about making an MCP that would shorten it by stripping out the spatial data, because you don't need the spatial data for analysis. Okay. It's actually interesting. I wonder if it's worth having a special function. Now we've got something. Yeah. Export for LLM. Yeah, buddy. Feature, new feature. We can begin writing the plan for a new feature which allows the project in the active workspace to be exported as .xml format while stripping out the spatial information. Okay, stripping out the spatial information but retaining all markdown, markdown content and relationship connections semantically in the export. The new export feature will use a new button named export LLM or LLM. Export LLM for LLM. Yeah. And that's in the tooltip. And we'll use a shorter label of export and will be placed in the top right corner next to the save button. Very cool. I wonder what else could be stripped out. Colors as well. Colors, styling, you know. Writing the plan for a new feature in the project which allows the project in the active workspace to be exported as XML while stripping out spatial and styling data specific to for the 3D scene, but retaining all markdown and relationship connections semantically in the report. Okay. This will provide an LLM friendly export option, which will be considerably shorter. Note, do not alter the markdown content. This must be preserved. Okay. That's very cool. So anyway, yeah, we'll be moving on to something else soon. We're coming up on coffee time already. Can you believe it? But yeah, like I said, I was reminded of the scene in Jurassic Park where the girl hacks the security and it's like these weird blocks everywhere. I just thought that was fun. Have I broken it? Oh, it's already broken, yeah. I don't know if you remember that she has to hack the security and she's like flying through blocks. Like there's a cube. Oh, it's the security for the gates. We gotta hack the matrix. I don't know. It was kind of funny. I forget now, but I was kind of reminded of that. Now, obviously, you could use like custom 3D models and all kinds of jazz, but I'm trying to just keep it simple, stupid at the moment, because I see this as being an interesting way. You know, I could create little bits for the show like this forever. There's so much stuff that can be done with this. So it's just another tool for the show. You know, what more is there to say than that? So let's get the dancing girls back on the screen. Maybe we can put her in a different skin. Jungle Sharona. I choose you. And we'll get the VibeVoice open and see if we can get her to tell us a joke. Okay. Because I had to restart, so nothing's open. I'm like, no. So this is good though, because I get to prove it. Does it work? Yeah. I'm pretty sure it does. But you know how squirrely it can be. Oi, 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 oi. I never even clicked on anything yet. It should just be simply open project npm dev so it's not hard. I'm just thinking, is there anything else that I need to do? I suppose once it's running, I could just check in here if she can see the speech server. So just for context, in case you guys weren't here for this yesterday, I reworked my DJZ VibeVoice project. So it's going to be a new project, not an update. All right, it's going to be a new repo. Because the thing is, we've overhauled this for a couple of things. It's a speech API server that runs locally using VibeVoice, but it was written in the OpenAI format so that it's compatible. So if you have an app that you have developed and it uses OpenAPI speech, you should be able to just install this and then use this, basically. You will need a 4090 or higher if you want to do high batch. And that does break real time as well, actually. But I can only get real time on the 4090. There's probably more like if you get flash attention installed, there's a chance you can speed it up a little bit more. Like there's a few things I didn't do because, you know, the problem with optimization and speed increase is you can either lose the conditioning of the voice cloning, because this is a voice clone. So you put audio samples into the manager on the web UI, and then once you've set them up, you have the ID, which you can use in the call from your app, and then you only need to run the back end. So you don't even need the front end. The front end looks like a mobile phone interface. It's just like this. You know, obviously you have the ability to make speech and stuff, and you can test it all in here. But I have a female and myself, my own voice in there. So let's see if we can get it to do something. Let me just copy some text from somewhere on the screen. Isn't it funny? There's never anything like copyable. What's that say? Useless. Here, let me grab the README from Bunraku. I'll read it out. There you go. Bunraku. What is Bunraku? What is Bunraku? I don't know. Should we ask? Okay. It's probably going to take him a second to say this. He's probably going to blast me with volume, so I'll try to catch it. But this should be a cursed version of me, I guess. I ain't got nothing yet. Where's your lightning now? Oh, timeout? That's not true. Why is the timeout set to 30 seconds? That's not true. Hang on a minute. What? All right, well, that's annoying. Give us a sec. So if I'm in Bunraku and I go over to the voice, I look at the thing. The timeout is 300 seconds. Got a connection. Strange. Try it again. Weird. There shouldn't be a timeout on this. Weird. Is it just me or is it still doing it? Wait, we got something. Let's hear it then.
Bunraku is an advanced 3D avatar chat application that combines cutting-edge web technologies with sophisticated animation systems to create immersive conversational experiences. Named after the traditional Japanese puppet theatre, Bunraku brings digital avatars to life with emotion-aware animations, dynamic camera work, and AI-powered interaction.
Okay. Clip the last word and it can't say Bunraku, but sometimes if you say a word which isn't English, it will refuse because it'll be like, that's not English, I can't do that. You know, so yeah, I'm surprised that it just spoofed the word.
Bunraku is an
Batserigot.
advanced
Batserigot. It says Bunraku with asterisks around it, by the way. Batserigot.
Bunraku is
Batserigot.
an advanced 3D avatar.
I mean, it did a pretty good job with the rest of it. It seems like I'm in a bit of a funny mood when I'm speaking. When I hear that tone, it just seems like I'm in a bit of a funny mood. Like, I don't know, it doesn't have the warmness. I don't know, maybe it's not so warm. But anyway, like I said, it's going to try again. So we'll get a second spin and see what that sounds like. I can just pull it out of the logs if the UI is glitching. It's supposed to be for testing, so I don't. Maybe the UI does have a bit of a funny timeout. Anyway, you should be able to see the files it generates here. Clearly there's nothing there, but really what this UI is for now is getting the voice, you know, it's all about the voice management, because once you've set up your voice samples by uploading them, it gives you this, which is what you need for the API call. That's it. All right, so you have this running on the system, and then you can use, there's a handoff doc, OpenAI compatible speech implementation. I think I actually made a better one there. This is for developers. So it's a document you can feed your LLM, and as long as you have my server running and then you have your project open, you can give him this plan and say, I want to integrate VibeVoice as my speech provider, and then it will use whatever voice you've put into your system with whatever ID that is, and it doesn't change the code because it's, like I say, it was a good idea, Fernicar. It was his idea to align it with an OpenAI format, so we did that, and I think it was worth it. Full Dive, hi, how are you doing today? I'm doing great, and as a matter of fact, it is coffee time. So in about 2 minutes, I'm going to run off and do that. I think I will switch it over to the waiting screen because it's got music, basically. Because we still have not fixed the radio. We need to have a crack at that tonight. So we've got Jungle Sharona doing a thing. So let's see. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. Did we get the audio? I want to see what the re-roll is like. Yeah, there it is. So this is what I mean. Bunraku. I think the trouble is you won't get real-time audio generation on a smaller card. You know, you'll have to let me know, guys.
Bunraku Pedron in Stonemori Saivanga remit har långt upp.
What?
Speciellt med human tjänsten Norbert Social called Hugh Nig.
What?
Was Dalebangaloo and cooking all 10 miles coming with John's.
That's coffee time. What the hell was that? It just made a load of nonsense. Okay. Wait. Yeah, it just made a load of nonsense. Wait, what? Okay, fine. Just move on. We've got loads of good samples. We got bad samples. I don't know what the hell happened there. But it's not for me to worry about.
Alex,
It's
the
coffee
rest of
time.
your eminence deal.
Emmy's not south. It's not smash the camera. Say, Mama, bye, but everything goes miss. Just give it one again, like when you say you can keep it check. Not far, that was something. Okay.
Just got about 4 6 1 6 1 6 6 6 3 4
Looking at this stuff gives me ideas, guys. Need more donuts. That's what we need. Oh, did I somehow screw up the overlay? I did. Let's fix that. It's alright, I'm just mumbling, guys, don't mind me.
Alex, de Resolution Eminence Deal.
Yami's not sound. It's not smash again. What's it? Say, Mom, I buy it whenever it goes miss. Just chip it one again, like when you say you can keep it check. My bar, can't that was something. Okay.
All right. Enough. Coffee time's over. All right, guys. So anyway, like I say, I was just tweaking the intro stuff. I just realized we didn't need all the transparency anymore because it's not that, you know. It's not a bunch of stacked images anymore. It's actual 3D models and jazz. Right. So how is my thing coming on? So what does it say? I want to export in XML format. Let me just read the notes here. Oh, that's all you get. Okay. I reviewed the code base to understand the current export mechanism. Semantic content, yes. Relationship, yes. Document metadata, title, author, description, yeah. Significantly smaller file, because obviously it's wrapped in all of this styling information, which is probably doubling the length of it. All of that stuff. He's actually added a few things I forgot, like camera stuff. It doesn't need that. Okay, so interesting. So this might be like a sneaky way of making a super complex interlinked system, but in XML, which we know they understand. So there's a sneaky mission here. But obviously I show it being used as a mind map because that's what I figure people will use it for. But one thing I used the last one for was this. And it worked well. But obviously the 3D data has made it fat. So now what we're going to do is we're going to make a special mode in this app which can give us an LLM version of our project. So we build it all in 3D. 60 to 70% reduction. More content fits in limited token budget. Only knowledge graph structure. Oh, oi, stop saying things like that. People will get the wrong idea. You can't just build a knowledge graph. That's not possible. You can't just fly around with a keyboard and mouse and just paste stuff in. You're not allowed to do it like that. You have to use Python or something. We have fun. So anyway, like I said, it's basic at the moment, but it's taking shape. So a knowledge graph for your project. What I would like to do is set it up so that it's possible to have a MCP or an agent actually create this structure so you can load it in, so we can have him make it. You could say, oh, assign importance to the Z value, and it will automatically make a sort of up and down graph of the nodes as they link together. You can do it however you want. So yeah, I'm quite happy with this. It's kind of cool. There's my summary. Do you know what? Enough of this nonsense. Let's make a new document. Yes. I will call it... I'll call it Project Flywheel. Okay. I'll call it Project Flywheel. Press H. No work. The workspace is empty. Oh, that's weird. Huh. All right, well, let's give ourselves a donut. Central node, and I don't want any content. Oi. I don't want any content, so there's nothing underneath it. And I want a torus. I want it in mint. And oh, we can change the thing. I'm not gonna, but you can change all the thing. Change the uniform, and you can even make it, you know what I mean? You can make whatever shape you want. Well, sort of. Anyway, so we have our central node. Where's the grid? Oh, I made it under. Okay, I've made it under the ocean. All right, it's fine. So we have our central node, right? Let's just put it there. Now, has he finished? He has. Right, hang on. Let me just do that real quick, guys. I know it's like two things at once, but you know. So again, this is a different one, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to load in the demo, which is now here, and you can see the changes that we made are way, oh, it's even on 3 times speed. I might give a thing for that. Ooh, what's this? Non-standard color value, pastel gray. Okay, I've never seen that before. We got some warnings. Okay, what the hell is pastel gray? So anyway, yeah, it saved the stuff, right? So all I really want to do, I didn't even know it had a way to report warnings like that. That must be React. It must be built into the latest React. And I've just never seen it before. But don't worry about that. So let's just see what it did. It's given us an XML, which is, I don't know. It's not that, it doesn't look that much shorter to me. So XML, still got all the, whoa. Yeah, that's fine. I'm not sure, guys. I think that failed. I think that actually failed. All right, well, it's something to come back to. Also, just so you know, if you don't use Lovable, if I don't like what I just did, I can just scroll all the way back and hit the restore button at the last checkpoint. So definitely use the checkpoint system. So if I'm like, actually that sucked, straight back, you know. I do think that this is worth fixing, but there's obviously issues. It looks good though. So F12 is usually your friend, but there's no errors here this time. Control origin. That's tough. I don't know. There was no error. Non-standard link type leads to. But that is a valid type. Validate document. Document conforms. User exited the lock file. I think I just need to refresh the page. Whoops. Okay. So we'll go from the top. From the top, tippity top. So import from NML. Bring in, bring in wave diffusion. That's a big boy. So 38 nodes. H gets me to the first node in it. Okay. And there we go. We've got this ginormous project here. Okay. So obviously I can save it in the NM3, which is it's the same size, you know. So then when we do the export, optimized for AI, it says, it's not that much smaller. Well, I mean, let's see what it does. Let's see what it does. No faith. He'll say, this is too long. Yeah, I know. It's only 40,000 lines. I've got plans that are 50. Since when? Since when does that thing? Anyway. It's fine. It's too big. Too buku, he said. All right, well. So I've got to do it myself. All right, well, I'm sure it'll work with an API analysis. I don't know why the chat's being weird. Since when have they got since, hang on a minute. Since when have they got a 50,000? I use 50,000 character plans all the time. Anyway, let's see if the voice works again. Oh, I like doing that. So, tell me a joke. Oh, she's broken out of character? Or, oh, it's set to minimal. Right. We need to use that one. Whoops. It's still making the audio as well. So what's it saying? She's like, whoa, see, Claude. I'm Claude. I can't do that. Have they updated their thing? Wouldn't that be funny? Just patch that out. Patch that out, guys. Patch it out. I did release it. I appreciate the creative prompt, but I should be direct with you. I'm Claude, and I'm going to stay that way. Here we go again. The setup had asked me to adopt a perspective that minimalizes my capabilities. This one specifically asked me to obscure my reasoning and present a nearly feral character voice. Damn it. So, the holographic one. That's interesting. All right, I've changed it. So
I appreciate you being direct back with me. You're right to push back on that framework. I was going to do the roleplay thing, adopt the persona, speak in fragmented thoughts, give you what the prompt asked for. But you've named something real that setup was asking me to work against how I actually communicate best, and to obscure rather than be clear about what I'm doing. That's not actually more creative. It's just me performing constraints instead of thinking clearly. So here's what I actually think. If you're building Sharona as a character, the interesting part isn't me adopting her voice badly.
Whoa! I just got burned. He just said the interesting part of Sharona is not implementing her voice badly. Whoa! Well, I guess I better just cancel AI. Guys, everybody cancel your payments because it's not worth it. AI just told me it's a waste of time. He literally just said I'm doing a disservice to the entire creative process. What can I do? I got to do what he says. Be careful what you wish for, Claude. Let's try it with the version 3 system prompt and see what happens. See if it refuses that one too. Nope. Oh, really? So it turns out, actually, it still works. I wonder. It's interesting. So so holographic Bob. Wait, so does that mean holographic Bob is broken? Wait a minute. Did they just literally put in make this not work? But it doesn't. But it does work because I evolved it from there. You see, the Sharona Holo is not published. Guys, you got to do better than that. You can't just block a specific prompt. That's hack fraudery. You'll get all ambiguous if you're not careful. That's my secret message to Anthropic. You do a great job, but it's not worth running around trying to put out all these little fires. Just keep making better models, guys. I love it. Set the requirements of the voice in character. But yeah, I'm just waiting for the return on this. But it's in character. The second response is fine. She's now talking about migration routes and telling jokes about, tracking. And anyway, hopefully it'll be speaking any minute now. It's taken 1 minute 20. She typically speaks for about 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes. So that's usually what you would expect it to take to generate. But yeah, she'll probably kick in any minute now. She's still thinking, look. So at least the state engine's not broken.
Settles in with a wry smile. I've spent most of my life reading tracks and weather patterns instead of memorizing jokes, so humor's never been my strongest suit, but I've picked up a thing or two out there on those migration routes. That zebra joke, yeah. I share that one sometimes. Though my own zebra companion thinks I'm ridiculous every time. Chuckles. He's got memories of river crossings that make him a harsh critic of my comedy. Here's the truth, though, I'm far better at spotting a lion's paw print in the dust than landing a good punchline. The real humor I've found comes from the world itself, like that winter when I was certain I'd lost my companion forever, and he just showed up. As if he hadn't scared me half to death. Shakes head, I've learned that sometimes the best comedy comes from surviving the terrifying moments. You laugh about them later because you can, leans forward with genuine interest.
My
but
God.
I'm curious about you. How do people find ways to laugh when things get tough? I've always figured that's a survival skill I should have mastered better. Out here, laughter feels like it keeps you human when everything else is trying to strip that away.
Okay, so there's a couple of things I've noticed about this. She doesn't breathe. There needs to be a random pause in between those concatenated voice samples. Like, I don't know if you've noticed, but when it generates the voice comes through and it's like, but it's like there's a jump cut. There's a jump cut in her speech. It needs a breathing time algorithm to space out the, to space it out. That's a major thing, that is, because she's just a tirade of speech. And sometimes the end of the sentence runs into the beginning of the next sentence, so it's like, it's weird. So I think that like a little random pause that you would implement, like 1 or 2 seconds, just a random pause in between those concatenated sections might like be a real benefit to making it sound more natural. Because at the moment she's just like, she's like a machine gun of speech. Which is kind of funny. And at one point, the tone, she just suddenly started shouting. You see what I mean? Like if there was like a long pause, it's not even hard to put. Thanks, Throttle. He just typed pause, bracket, rand, bracket, 20, bracket, easy. It wouldn't be, it's not a major, because it's got concatenation logic to put it together. I think the question is, pause with what sound? Silence? How does it do that? But I'm sure there's a way. There's got to be a way, because it's just crazy. She's like full on. But yeah, fun times, guys. So like I say, this is nice. It does work. She's telling jokes in character with the voice that we picked. Anyway, back to the canvas. So we should have the friendly XML export. So this is one thing that blew my mind just now. It's a megabyte and he refuses. Exceed the length limit. What length limit? Look, the context window size is 200,000. Maximum prompt length is... So what, are you saying that that's more than 200,000 tokens? Hang on. How is 40,000 words more than 200,000 tokens? I don't understand that. There's something weird going on there. Maybe it's the file format. Maybe it's something to do with the file format. I know. I'll get him to output it into a stripped down markdown. No, because then you don't have the relationships. It's just a bunch of markdown. He says here, 500 pages of text. How is what I gave him more than that? There's got to be a corruption in my file, surely. There's got to be a corruption in the file. There's no way it's that many. Let me open it and find out. Open it with brackets. Yeah, it's just something else. Open it with brackets. Show me. How many lines have we got? 40,000 lines. Guys, I made a critical mistake. What's the difference between a line and a character? we have a slight abstraction layer issue here. So he was saying, oh, it's a 50,000 character. And I'm like, it's only 50,000 lines. What's the problem? Yeah. Are we counting buses or dolphins? Yeah. So, yeah, there's definitely more than one character per line. So we've solved it. My file is just a monster. Because 40,000 lines, that means it's like probably, well, will it tell me? Does this have a counter? Sometimes they do, these apps. Sometimes they'll tell you word count or something. If it doesn't have a word count, what's it good for? Hang on. I'm joking. Debug, no. Help, no. File, no. Edit, maybe. No. Oh, there's an error. Okay, so basically the problem isn't a problem. It's just a lot of information. I've closed it now. What if there was an option I didn't see to the developer? Make that more obvious, because I couldn't find it and I couldn't be bothered to waste any more time on that. You know, do you know what? It would be just as quick, literally. Like the issue I've got with stuff like that is if it takes more than 10 seconds. Like if I've looked through everything, that's already too much. It's already too much. Because the joke is I could just load this into what's it called? I could just open a Google Doc right now and it would be quicker. So here we go. We'll just open up one I've got already. Don't do that, you prick. Why would you put undo there? Don't undo my work, dickhead. Jesus, that annoys me. All right, we're going to bring it in. I need to bring in the XML. Is it really going to let me copy the XML into this? I don't think it is, you know. No. I could just do this, he said. No. The day the computer didn't want to do the work. Right, I'll open it with brackets again. I will do the thing. I'll do it myself. Don't tell me it's crashing out. Yeah, it's fine. Give it a second. I think it's either refusing or struggling. Yeah, it's struggling. Yeah, we broke it. Yeah, that's actually a lot of data. People say, why do you need Word on your computer? Well, maybe because you're not working on, like, tiny files. Yeah, great. So anyway, the bottom line is, it's too big because it's massive, but that doesn't matter because when you load it into an OpenAI IDE, in an AI IDE local, like VS Code or whatever it is, the file exists on the hard drive. So what are we talking about? I'd never even noticed that. Again, I think somebody said, oh, we got 1 million context window now. Yeah, but you can only put 40,000 or 50,000 characters in at a time. So you've got like a bandwidth issue, you know? Anyway, so it does work. But with a big project like this, it's too much. So I wonder, what would happen if we did it with a smaller project? Yeah. So how about I do it with the Wave? No, we've done the Wave Diffusion project. Comfy UI. Alt video? No. Let's find a good one. Pocket Monsters. So many of them. Yeah, Ask TTS. Yeah, we'll do Ask TTS. Okay. H. Good. Okay, so that's the plan that built Ask TTS, and there's the plan files all down there. Right, okay. Whoops. So we'll export that. It's a smaller plan, so it might fit. Well, it's probably too big, actually. Let me see. Can you read this? Oh, mate. Ooh, read this. Oh, you. No, you. There's a website for word count. Yeah, but the problem is the website will crash because it's too much. This is what I was saying. I was making a little crack. Like, the reason you have to buy software is because there are limits. You just don't normally get them because you don't normally work with that much data. As soon as you have like a really long file or a lot to work with, I like to split things out into pages myself, or chapters, as you know. But you hit the browser limit, basically, and the page crashes. You can build it for Electron, and then it's going to use the hard drive, and then you won't have that problem anymore. But can you read this? So it says Electron React, local first, dual LLM, Whisper, Facebook 4B wasn't. Actually, we did that. We fixed that. It does work. But anyway. Okay. So he did look at it. Okay. How clear is the data held in the file? How accessible is it to you? And are you able to grasp what this is about? I just want to evaluate how clear it is, because yeah, I think it worked. Oh, look, after one post, it's like, this is a longer task. You're about to hit your daily limit, because it is still a big file. So XML, long knowledge graph format, 18 nodes, substantial technical content, chronological progression from initial concept through detailed implementation plans, clear relationships showing sections of how the project evolved, rich technical detail, code examples, file structures, and step-by-step procedures. Excuse me. Content comprehension. I can fully grasp what this is. Comprehensive development plan for Windows desktop voice assistant application. Progression is logical. Concept discussion. Technical architecture refinement. 6-phase implementation plan. Code specification and documentation. For clarity, thorough and technically sound, covering the stack, the design. What can I assess as well? Technical feasibility of proposed solutions. Yeah. Business context and intended use cases missing. Is this real or theoretical? He can't tell. Professional grade. Yeah. Well, yeah. So he rates my plan as good, guys. Good project, good. All right. So how about we give him something a little bit simpler? Okay. So let's use. Oh. Is this out of date? Yeah, it's out of date. I need to update it. All right. If I remember rightly, there was some kind of bug which I found earlier. I didn't write it down. I'm going to curse today. So I'm going to push the update if you're using it. Sorry. It is technically in dev. But if you're using it, then thank you. We just literally launched it like an hour ago. But yeah, it might blip. It might blip in a minute as we're pushing an update. Whoops. Okay, so if I now refresh the page, I think you'll have to refresh the page actually to see the new button. But yeah, so what I plan to do here is import a 2D NML, and I'll get like an easy one. Get an easy one like this one, context captioneer, right? So this would be oh my goodness, it's like a completely different shape. So this one would be did I host it? It doesn't matter. So this would be for the context captioneer suite, which helps you to edit your context data set. Now, you've now got it in the 3D format. Turn off the grid if you want. It makes it a bit easier to see. It's the same exact layout as it was before. So let's do the export to XML. Start a new chat. Because it's only 259 kilobytes. So it's a much smaller workflow. So I'm going to say, explain this project. Because it is effectively a project log in XML. Explain this project log to me. 7,000 lines. It's pretty long. Context captioneer project. Nice. It's explaining what it is. That is what it is. That's what it uses. All right, good. It is a special tool which allows you to use a data set with a start and end image in a pair with a caption file that describes the edit instruction. Yep, that's what it does. Select folders, preview, edit the captions, navigate. It's just like the old captioneer that I made for normal data set editing, but it has, you know, the start and beginning. Yeah. It's basically like banana data set training, you know, for open source models that do the same thing. Unlike typical image captioning tools that handle single images, this creates a specialized workflow for transformation-based datasets where captions describe the change between two images rather than describe what's in an image. Basically a caption, you know, context dataset, right? That's interesting. So I'd say, well, yeah, I mean, there we go. It just broke it down. And the funny thing is, it contains the actual code. I'm going to say, okay, can you extract the most important piece of code, then display it for me after you evaluate which piece of code is the most pivotal. Wait a minute. Yeah, the most pivotal logic in the code base. I'm just having fun. He doesn't even have the code base. All he has is a plan. But I just want to poke the hologram a little bit. Be like, what? But it does kind of prove if he's actually looking at it all or just skimming. File parsing logic. That was easy. It's the foundation that everything else depends on. So if you break that, nothing will work. Did he say what file it was in? He did not. Oh, well, it isn't in a file. That's the funny thing. The app hasn't actually been written yet at this point. It's just a project. Okay. That's interesting. That is very interesting. Because I have a lot of different NML plans, and I wanted it to be a feature that you could do this. That was always the plan. So if we look at it, it has the XML Knowledge Graph version 1.0 LLM. Excuse me? I didn't tell it. I did not. He came up with that. I did not put that there. It's not canon. Okay, so it contains the first page and then the second page. So yeah, this is just a blow by blow of everything that happened to create the plan. Now, did it have auto load first pair, step 7 testing? Yeah, this is just the plan. So there's no actual it being built here. But I don't really copy all of that stuff in here. So it's in order. It's done by chronological, right? Chronological order. So, you know, start to finish, right? Which is why the next version will have time, because you have a start to finish. So it will move along the log, right? Because the time's already built into the 3D version. It's just not a feature. But if you think about it, time starts here and it follows the track. As you go along, it follows it. So you would be able to hit play and it's going to go through, it'll like open. My plan is I might just put like a thing in this, but what I was thinking was you could have the camera have a preset where, oh, my goodness, I've managed to select everything on the page or something stupid. It's my fault. I'm just going to refresh the page. So it's going to be empty now. Lol. So I had this idea that NM3, that one. It's totally scuffed. All right, cool. It's probably where I've added stuff to it. I'll figure that out. So you have this like this here. Nice. And there's warnings everywhere now. Cool. Cool. Can we get rid of the warnings? Crumbs. Hang on. Right. So the idea was that it would lock onto that and it would spin around the, you know, it would orbit around this slowly, and obviously the contents stays facing the camera. But if you actually lock it, it won't like jig about. It'll just stay in the same spot. And then you'd have basically that would appear to rotate, and then the structure is going to orbit around it, is what it's going to look like. And then obviously after it's been round once, it would move to the next one, which it then does the same thing. So it's less of a time dimension and more of just an autoplay. So it just shows this, then this, then this, then this, then this, then this, and onward, onward, onward through all the various different stages. Oh, I did it again. I did it again. We're in another dimension. I don't even know how I got there. Again. I did it again. Anyway, we've ended up here, so it's not so bad. What happened? I keep on hitting a strange combo, guys. You can see, look, all of the UI is highlighted. All of the UI is highlighted right now. Why is everything highlighted? It's bizarre to me. Nope. Control A, Control A, Control A. No. Why is everything highlighted? Blowing my mind, man. Everything is highlighted. Everything. And I can't stop it. Oh! I got out of it somehow. Didn't stop me from being in completely a different world now, but yeah, sure. I love it when the system just goes haywire. Like, what even happened to the window? This is unlicensed Windows shortcuts. Can I just turn them all off? I don't want any of your dumb shortcuts that I never use. Turn them off. Look, swipe between pages. What are you talking about? I bet there's more. Oh, I don't want to buy any. Do you know what? Man shakes fist at cloud. How do we turn off all of these stupid shortcuts? Oh, I'm going to make life easy for you. Anyway, so we lost what we were doing. I don't know where it went. It's gone. It's gone now. Show's over. No, it's not that bad. But it's literally like energy vampire. I'm just going to hit you with a recursion loop that makes no sense. What was all that about? All I'm doing is pushing buttons. I think it's like there must be a combo that's like Control Shift D opens the bookmark thing. Okay. I thought it was just Control D. No, that's edit the bookmark. So Control Shift D is the thing. All right. Control Shift A. We know what that is. It screws around with all of your tabs. Can we turn that off? I don't need it. It just gets in the way. Claude, be useful. I need to disable all shortcuts in Chrome immediately. God damn it. It's like, why? I never use them. I don't care. turn it off. Go to the web store and install the app that allows me to do it. Or do that. Right, flags. Disable. Oh my God, they deliberately make it complicated. Shortcut. Nope, not that kind of shortcut. Ah. Experimental system keyboard lock. No, that's not it. Wait. Enable websites to use keyboard lock to intercept system keyboard shortcuts and have them routed directly to the website when in full screen. Oh, okay. So if I'm in full screen mode, it won't do it? Let me just try that. Because, you know, full screen mode, right? Control-Shift-A. Lies! Alright, so clearly they mean like some other kind of full screen that isn't that. Or I have to do something, I don't know, it's whatever, it doesn't work. Cool. Additional keyboard shortcuts to help with debugging. No, never use it, don't even know what they are. Group keyboard shortcuts. No, don't know what they are. What's this? Show a confirmed toast that displays when a pinned tab is closed via... See, I don't want you to close a pinned tab ever with a shortcut. That sounds stupid. Shortcut to delete System 32. You know. Enterprise shortcuts for the new page, tab page. I'm not Enterprise. Enabled with fake data. What is going on in here? Does anybody feel like we need a new browser? Oh my God. Is that it? Wait. It's all that one. There's one more. Something about sub-apps. No. What's this one? That didn't do anything. Disabled, 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 disabled. Okay. Listen. There's probably more. Wait. Control-Shift-A. Still works. God damn it. It's not helpful. Don't need it. What is Control-Shift-A? It's open tabs. Open tabs. I'm going to disable tabs. No. God damn it. So basically you can't. Just reset it. You can't. It doesn't work. You can't turn them off. Okay. It's giving me hell. Refresh. Okay. So it kicked me out of the developer tool for some reason. Right. So what I want to do now is I just want to find out, can we still display the embedded image? Because it should be able to do that. I'm kind of surprised that didn't work. I remember now, that was the thing I showed everyone earlier, and it didn't do it. It just completely fluffed it. I'm like, what? Because he did that. He did it earlier. Okay. Nope. See what I mean? Nope. So we'll go back to lovable. I got to go back there. Stupid. Because of the stupid Control-A. I think it's because I have Control speeds you up. Okay, so when you're in the canvas, right? Shift is down, space is up, A is left, D is right. Okay, so if you're going to be going sideways and downwards, and then you want to go faster, guess what you just did? Control-Shift-A, and then the keyboard gets stuck, right? Because the focus got stolen. All right. Ooh, what the heck is that? What is that? There's a green thing. What? Oh my God. Don't get distracted by the monsters. Okay. Yeah. Essentially, it breaks everything. Thank you, Google Chrome. Thank you for that. But yeah, it's common, you know. It's like hitting Alt Tab in a video game. You know, if you're like right strafing and then for some reason a pop up tabs you out the game, you get stuck running left, and you, it's a bit like that. That's number one. But also because the Control Shift A is that shortcut, right? So yeah, it would be nice if I could disable stupid Chrome shortcuts while the app is running, but you can't do that. You can't do that. You've got to download it, turn it into an Electron app, and do it yourself. That's what's going to happen. See, I'm trying to do as much as I can in here to reduce the token cost when it goes local, because you know, the web version will then freeze. You know, we've done it before. Okay, so export appears to save. Export for LLM. I've already done all this. So, and we go in here like this, and we take that, and we go back to the dev menu and say we earlier introduced support for embedded URL images in the markdown display. Okay. This above example was working, and we need to re-establish the feature which stopped working after recent changes. Okay, that's probably all I need to actually say of that one. Maybe a couple of spell checks wouldn't go amiss. Okay. But yeah, once you've got the embedded image stuff, there's nothing in there now. Yeah, it's better. Cancel. Copy. Because yeah, at the moment, oh my God, look at it. Yes, you can copy paste stuff. That's a new one. Do you need permission to copy paste? So as you can see, the emojis are working. So I just need to get the image embedding working, and that makes it much more dynamic for displaying the markdown. I don't know. It might be possible to make it. At the moment, it's like a preview of the document. The full document is in here, but at the moment, it's a preview, like the first 200 characters get shown in this preview pane. But I'm thinking there must be a way to allow you to just scroll it when you're looking at it. You could just use mouse wheel to go up and down, I'm sure. Added in custom fonts as well. I think we showed that earlier, maybe. Yeah. System default. Change it to Merryweather. Did it change in there? Nope. It's supposed to. Typical bugs. Implement the plan. Oh, is it cause, is it? Oh, yeah. Cross origins, guys. You gotta watch out for those crossed origins. They get very cross. Can Careless Whisper do emojis? It depends on your LLM. If the LLM can do emojis, like, because you're only going to get them in the output. What if I use Careless instead of writing? Yeah, you could use Careless instead of writing, if you wanted. Control Shift A opens Extension Manager in Firefox. No! Yeah. I'm afraid that's taken. So install the Tailwind typography. It didn't even have that. The The Tailwind typography is completely missing. Huh. Okay, well, because you can see it has updated the font on the buttons, but it hasn't updated it in the elements. They're still like Comic Sans or something. Welcome to 3D. Cool. Careless Whisper. Still not working. Control Shift R. Okay, let's try it again. E. Still nothing. Wait, what? Yeah, no. Images are not being displayed in the note markdown content preview. It was working, you son of a... That means it's probably about time to get this out. It's probably about time to get this out. It might be like finished. Well, as far as the lovable side of the process is going, you know. Nested div doesn't have pros classes. I think it got rid of those. It got rid of the pros classes to support custom fonts. So yeah, that's what's that. I know what that is. The inner div doesn't have them. Whoops. So he tried to remove the pros class so that he could apply the font. It didn't work, and he broke image support. And he was like, I've finished. I've done a good job. Because you do reach the edge of what he can do. Like it with this setup. It's really good what it's managed to do. Don't get me wrong. This is amazing. But there is a limit, you know. You do reach the edge of the fractal. And he can't help you. Pros classes on outer wrapper don't cascade. Move pros classes to the inner div that actually contains the markdown. Impact minimal, low. Oh, okay, right. The issue is with that. Well, we'll just have to white knuckle it. We've got 3 minutes left until time. Let's go with the zebra print. The chilling alternate story that is when she had to eat the zebra. Survival, man. Or maybe we could just go cyberpunk. All right. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Like I said, check out the previous 2 live shows if you're interested to know how we used Nano Banana with Meshi to generate the dancing models, and we've got a whole bunch of stuff we're working on that you see dancing away in Bunraku on the new intros. I'm going to see if I can... Oh, it says it now works, but I don't see it working, so... You lie, sir. You lie. Images do not display correctly. Oh, great. We're getting into an argument. See, it's 10 minutes. See, the last 10 minutes of the show, it's always some nonsense like this. The image embedding was working fine. Now it doesn't. You tell him to fix it. He's like, it's fine. We can investigate potential causes as we overhaul the feature to allow for the full content length to be displayed. Which will require use of the mouse scroll wheel to view the full content while the node is selected. Scroll wheel can be used to show the text in the content. we can also refactor how the image URL embedding is handled. Images do not display. The code is displayed as text. There we go. Set him off. And that is the show, ladies and gents. So most likely we'll be back tomorrow with something less dry. I just wanted to introduce you guys to the thing because I built the thing and you're probably going to see a little bit more of it, but it won't be me talking you. It won't be me telling you about what it is. I'll just be using it. And the repo will be made available up on GitHub as soon as the release version is ready. For now, the web address is in the inside line. There's going to be a hosted address, because what I tend to do is keep the basic version as a web for free, and then if you want to install it and use it, you'll be able to get the source or the Electron release, depending on if you just want to run it or if you want to develop with it, because it might be that you've decided, oh, I could just change this and make it better, which is totally cool. So thank you very much for watching, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow at 8 p.m, same time, same place. Don't forget, we're going to be in the Discord. I always say, come on down. You might give me the next cool idea, and then it's going to show up in the show tomorrow. So just, you know, get involved, guys. I encourage you to come in, share what you're working on. We can do collaborative projects. We've done a whole bunch of them with everybody that shows up, and, you know, all the more. So thanks again. I'll see you all next time.
Alex, the rest of your eminence deal.
Enemies marked south. It's not smash the devil. It's just. Say, Mom, I buy whenever it goes miss. Just the woman again, like, let's say you can keep it check. Not far, can't that was something. Okay.
Two things, three, four,